Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacciana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we have a vintage Park Slim petrol lighter advertising imported Canadian mist whiskey. It's a very nice case. The insert is a little bit different story. If you saw the repair video for that, then you'll know a little bit of why. But the case is very nice and very good condition and a very cool old advertising relic, I would guess from the 1960s. There are a few scratches and scuffs on the bottom, but you can see it is marked Park Lighter, MURFREESBORO, Tennessee, USA. Scratch there, pretty heavy one right in the middle. But the case, other than that base having a scratch or two, is in pretty good condition. Doesn't look like it's got a whole lot of finish wear or dings. Just a few scratches, scuffs, things of that nature. The lighter has a solid fuel cell, a solid foam fuel cell with the original wick in it. If you have any experience with these lighters, then you realize that it doesn't have much of a wick in it. Just about the length of the bottom of the insert to the top of the windscreen. It's a nice two-tone, two-color advertising. Imported Canadian mist. Has a 4-barrel hinge which is riveted on, and it's not completely uncommon to see two different color rivets on one Park lighter. And I don't know if that's because one of those rivets may have had the plating wear off, or if they just had different color rivets and employed them sometimes cavalierly. I really like the tone of this lighter though. It's got a really rich color to it. I'm not a fan of liquor or alcohol advertising. I do have a piece or two Smirnoff lighter in honor of my dad, and the 100 Pipers Scotch whiskey lighter in honor of my uncle. But those are because of those men, not because of the whiskey. If I knew somebody who had preferred Canadian mist, then perhaps this would be headed to my collection, but instead it's going to be headed to my eBay store. The hinge is tight, nice and snug, doesn't have a whole lot of rattle or maneuvering back and forth. The insert is not marked on either side. It is of aluminum construction with the steel windscreen, which is plated plastic flint spring screw, solid foam fuel cell, which is somewhat contaminated with the bleeding dye of old plastic. It originally had a black plastic screw in it, and also a little bit from degraded flint dust when we cleaned out this flint tube. You may have seen that video. If you have not, you should check it out, especially if you are going to purchase this lighter. That would be excellent reference for you to know what you're getting and what has been done to it. You can see that wick is a little bit dirty, but it doesn't really seem to affect it all that much. As I saw the lighter, the case sitting there, I kept catching a glare, or it looked like maybe there was a thumbprint right over the logo or right over the top of the logo on the front. But I don't think that's the case. I think it was just the way I was seeing it, and maybe I was seeing the grains in the metal behind the anodized finish. There you can see how tight that hinge is, that there really isn't any play from side to side. There is a spring inside the case which holds on the lower portion of the insert, and then there's a spring on the upper portion of the insert that applies pressure to hold the lid closed, which it does its job very well and closes tight. You can hear it snap. The sort of light blue tone melds a little bit with the background of the gold, sort of has a halo effect. Definitely shiny, not like glitter, just like glowing gold. Not a whole lot of blemishes to point out. It is relatively light, even fueled up. It doesn't weigh much. That solid foam fuel cell. I've never tested one for longevity to see exactly how long they will last compared to a traditionally wadded petrol lighter. But I have used them around the house here and there long enough to see that it is a useful system. It may not be quite as efficient as the tighter packed wadding, but it may be even more efficient. I don't know. I haven't had any complaints. Maybe one of these days I will come across one that I determine is good enough to use for a daily carry, or maybe bad enough to use, depending on, that's sort of the middle ground that I find myself in most of the time. The really nice lighters are going to have to get sold because I got to make some money. But man, I do spend a good deal of my time sometimes when I have money to spend looking for bargains for me to add to my collection, not necessarily to resell, because there are plenty of themes and other interests, even if I'm not going to collect alcohol themed lighters. Somebody else will. Somebody will be glad to buy this one. And then maybe I can turn around and add another Bob Dylan, marijuana, or another lighter to commemorate one of my family members. Because it says imported, I'm assuming, there's a lot of liquors nowadays named one thing, but they're actually coming from all from here in the United States. But I assume that was being imported to the United States. That's why it's calling it imported Canadian mist. Just can't get enough of these old park advertising lighters. Until next time.